Painting for Beginners 7 Steps Guide to Get You Started. This is a comprehensive guide for absolute beginners looking to get started in painting. In this video, I considered what I would do if I had to learn to paint or how to create your first painting. I have broken the guide into 7 simple steps that you can follow. Step 1. Consider why you want to take up painting and what you want to get out of it. Before you go out and buy all your new art supplies and start throwing paint onto the canvas, you should consider why exactly you want to take up painting and what you want to get out of it. Your answers will determine how you proceed and what you should focus on learning. I don't believe that there is a static learning path that everyone must follow to master painting. Everyone has different tendencies, interests, and natural skills which determine the optimal learning path they should take. For example, some people do not have the patience to sit down and accurately render every tone and details of a subject. Therefore, they may be better suited to learn color and brush work from the Impressionists rather than the rigorous practice of the Russian academic painters. Or maybe you have no interest in breaking into the commercial art world, just wanted to fulfilling a hobby. In this case, you may want to take a more relaxed approach to how do you learn. Or maybe you want to become a master realistic painter like John Singer. To get anywhere near this goal, you would need to follow a dedicated and rigorous training regime which focuses on drawing and other fundamentals of painting. Step 2. Pick your medium, acrylics, oils or watercolors. Next, you should decide on medium to focus on, at least for the short term. This will allow you to really get a feel for how the medium works, so that you can then pay more attention to the big pictures aspect of paintings like color, compositions, value, etc. Acrylic is the beginner's choice, oils is the master's choice, and watercolors is the untamed beauty. There is no right answer here, but if you are just starting out in painting, then I recommend you start with acrylics or oils, but feel free to start with watercolors if you are up for the challenge. Also, this is not to say you must choose a medium and ignore the rest. I encourage you to try all the different kinds of mediums, but have one which you really focus on and get familiar with. It's better to be a master of one medium than be average to all the mediums. Step 3. Get your art supplies. The supplies you get will vary depending on the medium you decide to go with. In the broad sense, all you need is an easel, canvas, a palette, brushes, palette knives, paints, solvent if you are choosing oil paint, and paper towels for wiping your brush between the strokes. That is it really. Painting can be as simple as you want to make it. You will be able to find all this at your local art store. If you are an absolute beginner, it may be worth starting with a beginner package which includes most of the basic supplies you would need. You can then upgrade later on. Step 4. Get familiar with fundamentals of art. I'm a big believer in learning efficiently rather than just putting in times for the sake of it. You could practice for years and hardly improve if you don't know what you are doing. This is where the fundamentals of art come into play: color, value, composition, edges, brushwork, and techniques. These are what I consider to be the core pillars of painting. It's important that you get familiar with them early, as they will help you to understand what exactly is going on when your brush hits on the canvas. Learning these fundamentals areas will benefit every stroke you make. Step 5. Decide what you want to paint first. One of the most challenging aspects of painting happens before you pick up your brush, selecting a subject to paint. The perfect subject should be inspiring and challenging. You should feel the need to paint it. Here are some questions to help you determine if subject is worth painting. Is there a big why, a single idea which makes you want to paint it? Is there a clear and identifiable color harmony? Does the subject have an interesting design? Think about arrangement, shapes, forms, lines, and colors. Is there anything you can do improvement on the subject? Are you capable of painting it? Do you have the supplies required to paint it? What problems will you encounter painting it? Does the subject provide you with opportunities to challenge yourself and demonstrate your abilities? Does the subject inspire you? Can you see finished paintings at the end of it all? If so, do you like what you see? Ask yourself these questions next time if you are not sure if subject is worth painting. Step 6. Create your first painting. You are now ready to create your first painting. Just a word of warning though, it will be harder than it looks. The master artists make it look effortless, but don't forget they have been painting for many years, even decades in some cases. My main suggestions for your first painting is to be general. Try to capture your initial impressions of the subject. Think about the subject in terms of shapes and colors. You can then refine the painting and add more details. Step 7. Review and improve. Once you have created your first painting, it's a time to take a step back and review what went right, what went wrong, and where you can improve. Your first painting probably won't be a masterpiece, but that's okay. Everyone starts as amateurs, even though the masters.